Aalborg, Aalsund, Allee, Allias, Aals, Arlst, Alta, Aam, Omsi, Ondel, Anr, Ani, Aao, Aap, Ops, Okbai, Aar, Era, Era, Aarc, Aardvark, Aardvarks, Aardwolf, Aardwolves, Aaron, Arga, Arg, Orhus, Arica, Aaron, Aaronic, Aaron-Eichel, Aaronite, Aaronitic, Aaronsbeard, Aaronsbeg, Aaronson, Aarp, Arg, Arg, Aru, Aas, Aasia, Osfogel, Osfogels, Aau, Aaup, Aauw, OPSO, Aax, Aaxes, Aaxis, Ab, Ab, Abba, Ababa, Ababde, Ababoa, Abac, Abaca, Abaque, Abacaz, Abacate, Abacaxi, Abasi, Abacinate, Abacination, Abasciscus, Abasciscus, Abacist, Abac, Abacli, Abaco, Abacate, Abacterial, Abactinal, Abactinally, Abaction, Abactor, Abaculi, Abaculus, Abacus, Abacuses, Abad, Abada, Abaddon, Abaddon, Abadejo, Abadengo, Abadia, Abadite, Abaf, Abaft, Abigail, Abigail, Abagtha, Abi, Abaya, Abailard, Abasence, Abased, Abaser, Abase, Abased, Abaca, Abacan, Abacus, Abacamuv, Abalation, Abalionate, Abalionated, Abalionating, Abalionation, Abalone, Abalones, Abama, Abamp, Abampere, Abamperes, Abamps, Abana, Aband, Abandon, Abandonable, Abandoned, Abandonedly, Abandone, Abandoner, Abandoners, Abandoning, Abandonment, Abandonments, Abandons, Abandom, Abanet, Abanga, Abanic, Abonition, Abantes, Abapical, Abaptiston, Abaptistum, Abarambo, Abarbaria, Abaris, Abarthrosis, Abarticular, Abarticulation, Abas, Abase, Abased, Abastely, Abasedness, Abasement, Abasements, Abaser, Abasers, Abases, Abasci, Abash, Abashed, Abashedly, Abashedness, Abashes, Abashing, Abashless, Abashlessly, Abashment, Abashments, Abasia, Abasias, Abasic, Abasing, Abasio, Abask, Abasi, Abassi, Abasin, Abastard, Abastardize, Abastral, Abatable, Abatage, Abate, abetted, abatement, abatements, abater, abaters, abates, abatic, abating, abatus, abatist, abatuses, abat-jour, abat-jours, abaton, abater, abaters, abats, abatage, abatus, abatized, abatices, abattoir, abattoirs, abatto, abattu, abatua, abature, abo, abav, abaxial, abaxil, abase, abb, abba, abacy, abacize, abacomes, abatide, abay, abay, abandono, abas, abasi, abacid, abasi, abassid, abasside, abate, abatial, abatical, abating, abbey, abbey, abbeys, abbeys, abbeystead, abbeysteed, abbays, abbess, abysses, abbaist, abbevilian, abbeville, abbevilian, abbey, 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 abbi, abbeville, abbocato, abogata, abbot, abbotsy, abbotsize, abbotnalius, abbotric, abbots, abbots, Abbottson, Abbotsford, Abbotship, Abbotships, Abbotson, Abbotson, Abbot, Abbotson, Abbottstown, Abood, Abbotso, ABBR, Abbrev, abbreviatable, abbreviate, abbreviated, abbreviately, abbreviates, abbreviating, abbreviation, abbreviations, abbreviator, abbreviatory, abbreviators, abbreviature, abroachment, ABC, abscess, abscissa, abcolome, ABCs, ABD, Abdul, Abdali, Abdaria, Abdad, Abdel, Abdl Kadir, Abdl Krim, Abdella, Abderhalden, Abdurian, Abdirite, Abdirus, Abdest, Abdias, Abdicable, Abdicant, Abdicate, Abdicated, Abdicates, Abdicating, Abdication, Abdications, Abdicative, Abdicator, Abdil, Abditive, Abditory, Abdom, Abdomen, Abdomens, Abdomens, Abdomina, Abdominal, Abdominals, Abdominalia, Abdominalian, Abdominally, Abdominals, Abdomino-anterior, Abdominocardiac, Abdominocentesis, Abdominocystic, Abdominogenital, Abdominohysterectomy, Abdominohysterotomy, Abdominoposterior, Abdominoscope, Abdominoscopy, Abdominothoracic, Abdominus, Abdominouterotomy, Abdominovaginal, Abdominopsical, Abdon, Abdu, Abduus, Abduist, Abducens, Abducent, Abducentes, Abduces, Abducing, Abduct, Abducted, Abducting, Abduction, Abductions. Abductions. Abductor. Abductors. 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 Abducts. Abdul. Abdulaziz. Abdul Baha. Abdullah. Abe. Abi. Abim. Aber. Aberrance. Ababy. ABC Dare. ABCDary. ABCdaria. ABCdarian. ABCdarians. ABCdaries. ABCdarium. ABCdarius. Abed. Abed. Abedge. Abednego. Abiga. Abby. Abeyance. Abeyances. Abeyancy. Abeyances. Abeyant. Abey. Abel. Abelard. Abiel. Abiels. Abelia. Abelian. Abelicia. Abelite. Abel. Abel Moshes. Abel Mosque. Abel Mosques. Abel Musk. Abelonian. Abelson. Abel Tree. Abencerrages. Abend. Abens. Aben Ezra. Abenteric. Abiokuta. Abepithymia. Abip. Abercrombie. Abercrombie. Aberdare. Aberdavine. Aberdeen. Aberdeenshire. Aberdivine. Aberdonian. Aberduvine. Aberfan. Aberglaube. Aberia. Aberystwyth. Abernant. Abernathy. Abernethy. Abernon. Aber. Aberrance. Aberrancy. Aberrancies. Aberrant. Aberrantly. Aberrance. Aberrate. Aberrated. Aberrating. Aberration. Aberrational. Aberrations. Aberrative. Aberrator. Aberometer. Aberoscope. Abert. Oberuncate. Oberuncator. Abess. Abessive. Abet. Abetment. Abetments. Abets. Abettal. Abettals. Abetted. Abetter. Abetters. Abetting. Abetter. Abetters. Abeu. Abevacuation. Abfarad. Abfarads. ABFM. Abgatha. ABHC. Abhenry. Abhenrys. Abhenrys. Abinai. Abiska. Abominable. Abhor. Abhorred. Abhorrence. Abhorrences. Abhorrency. Abhorrent. Abhorrently. Abhorrer. Abhorrers. Abhorrible. Abhorring. Abhors. Abhorson. Abi. Abi. Abia. Abiathar. Aviv. Abikite. Abidal. Abidance. Abidances. Abidden. Abide. Abided. Abider. Abiders. Abides. Abiding. Abiding. Abidingly. Abidingness. Abidjan. Abidos. Abi. Abi. Abid. Abide. Abig. Abience. Abient. Abbies. Abis. Abitate. Abiatine. Abietic. Abietin. Abietnia. Abietinus. Abietnic. Abitite. Abizer. Abigail. Abigail. Abigails. Abigailship. Abigail. Abijid. Abigai. Abijah. Abihu. Abiang. Abijah. Abila. Abilau. Abilene. Abiliment. Abilene. Abilitable. Ability. Abilities. Abilities. Abila. Abilo. Abim. Abimelech. Abinri. Abingdon. Abinger. Abington. Abinoam. Abinoam. Abintestate. Abiogenesis. Abiogenesis. Abiogenicist. Abiogenetic. Abiogenetical. Abiogenetically. Abiogeny. Abiogenist. Abiogenous. Abiology. Abiological. Abiologically. Abioses. Abiosis. Abiotic. Abiotical. Abiotically. Abiotrophy. Abiotrophic. Abipon. Ubiquiu. Abir. Abirritant. Abirritate. Abirritated. Abirritating. Abirritation. Abirritative. Abis. Abisag. Abisha. Abishag. Abizia. Abysm. Abysmal. Abysmally. Abysms. Abyss. Abyssa. Abyssal. Abysses. Abyssinia. Abyssinian. Abyssinians. Abyssobenthonic. Abyssalith. Abyssopelagic. Abysses. Abyssus. Abyston. Abit. Abitibi. Abiu. Abirid. Abiza. Abject. Abjectness. Abjection. Abject ions. Abjective. Abjectly. Abjectness. Abjectnesses. Abjoint. Abjudge. Abjudged. Abjudging. Abjudicate. Abjudicated. Abjudicating. Abjudication. Abjudicator. Abjugate. Abjunct. Abjunction. Abjunctive. Abjuration. Abjurations. Abjuratory. Abjure. Abjured. Abjurement. Abjurer. Abjurers. Abjurers. Abjuring. Abcur. Abcari. Abcari. Abkhaz. Abkhazia. Abkhazian. Abkhaz. Abkhazia. Abkhazian. ABL. ABL. Ablach. Ablactate. Ablactated. Ablactating. Ablactation. Ablaquiate. Ablair. Ablast. Ablastamic. Ablastin. Ablastus. Ablate. Ablated. Ablates. Ablating. Ablation. Ablations. Ablatitious. Ablatival. Ablative. Ablatively. Ablatives. Ablator. Oblout. Oblouts. Ablaze. Able. Able-bodied. Able-bodiedness. Abase. Ablegate. Ablegates. Abligation. Able-minded. Able-mindedness. Ablend. Ableness. Ablepharia. Ablepharon. Ablepharus. Ablepharus. Ablepsy. Ablepsia. Ableptical. Ableptically. Abler. Ables. Ables. Ablest. Ablet. Able wickets. Ably. Ablings. Ablins. Ablock. Abloom. Ablow. ABLS. Abluid. Abluent. Abluence. Ablush. Abluid. Abluted. Ablution. Ablutionary. Ablutions. Oblivion. ABM. Abmho. Abmos. Abmodality. Abmodalities. ABN. Abnaki. Abnakis. Abnegate. Abnegated. Abnegates. Abnegating. Abnegation. Abnegations. Abnegative. Abnegator. Abnegators. Abner. Abnerval. Abnet. Abneural. Abnormal. Abnormalcy. Abnormal size. Abnormalize. Abnormalized. Abnormalizing. Abnormalism. Abnormalist. Abnormality. Abnormalities. Abnormalize. Abnormalized. Abnormalizing. Abnormally. Abnormalness. Abnormals. Abnormity. Abnormities. Abnormous. Abnumerable. Abio. Aboard. Abortage. Abobra. Abacocket. Aboda. Abode. Aboded. Abodiment. Abodes. Abodes. Abodi. Aboding. Abogado. Abogados. Abome. Abomes. Obwado. Obwados. Obwado. Aboil. Aboito. Aboitos. Aboitos. Abolete. Abolish. Abolishable. Abolished. Abolisher. Abolishers. Abolishes. Abolishing. Abolishment. Abolishments. Abolishments. Abolition. Abolitionary. Abolitionist. Abolitionist. Abolitionizing. Abolitionism. Abolitionist. Abolitionists. Abolitionize. Abolitionized. Abolitionizing. Abolitions. Abala. Abali. Abama. Abamas. Abamasa. Abomasal. Abamasi. Abomasum. Abomasus. Abomasuzi. Abom. Abominability. Abominable. Abominableness. Abominably. Abominate. Abominated. Abominates. Abominating. Abomination. Abominations. Abominator. Abominators. Abomin. Abondance. Abongo. Abon. Abonnement. Abun. Aborad. Aboral. Aborali. Aboard. Aboriginal. Aboriginality. Aboriginally. Aboriginals. Aboriginary. Aborigine. Aborigines. Aborigines. Abramiri. Aborn. Aborning. Aborning. Aborsement. Aborsive. Abort. Aborted. Aborter. Aborters. Aborticide. Abortient. Abortifacient. Abortin. Aborting. Abortion. Abortional. Abortionist. Abortionists. Abortions. Abortions. Abortive. Abortively. Abortiveness. Abortogenic. Aborts. Abortus. Abortuses. Abbas. Abode. Abud. Abuchament. Abudicro. Abad. Abooker. Abulia. Abulias. Abolic. Abound. Abounded. Abounder. Abounding. Aboundingly. Abounds. Aburesque. About. About face. About faced. About facing. Abouts. About ship. About shipped. About shipping. About sledge. About turn. Above. Above board. Above board. Above sided. Above deck. Above found. Above given. Above ground. Above mentioned. Above mentioned. Above named. Above proof. Above quoted. Above reported. Aboves. Above said. Above said. Above stairs. Above water. Above written. About. A box. ABP. ABPC. Abkike. Abridged. Abridged. Abra. Abracadabra. Abrachia. Abrachias. Abradable. Aberdant. Aberdance. Abrade. Abrad. Abrader. Abraders. Abrads. Abrading. Abraham. Abrahamic. Abrahamity. Abrahamite. Abrahamitic. Abraham man. Abrahams. Abrahamson. Abraham. Aubrey. Abrade. Abram. Abrames. Abramo. Abrams. Abramson. Abran. Abranchial. Abranchialism. Abranchian. Abranchiata. Abranchiate. Abranchius. Abrasax. Abrase. Abrist. Abraser. Abrash. Abrasing. Abrasiometer. Abrasion. Abrasions. Abrasions. Abrasive. Abrasively. Abrasiveness. Abrasivenesses. Abrasives. Abrastal. Abram. Abraxas. Abrazite. Abrazitic. Abraso. Abrasos. Abriact. Abriacted. Abriacting. Abraction. Abractions. Abracts. Abreast. Abrad. Abrag. Abread. Abrenounce. Abrenunciate. Abrenunciation. Abreption. Abrad. Abreuvoir. Abri. Abrico. Abricock. Abricate. Abridgeable. Abridge. Abridgeable. Abridged. Abridgedly. Abridgment. Abridgments. Abridger. Abridgers. Abridges. Abridging. Abridgment. Abridgments. Abrim. Abrin. Abrin. Abreeze. Abristle. Abroach. Abroad. Abracoma. Abracum. Abrogable. Abrogate. Abrogated. Abrogates. Abrogating. Abrogation. Abrogations. Abrogative. Abrogator. Abrogators. Abroma. Abrams. Abronia. Abruid. Abruk. Abrosia. Abrosias. Abrotinum. Abrotin. Abrutine. Abrupt. Abruptly. Abrupter. Abruptest. Abruptio. Abruption. abrupt iones, abruptly, abruptness, abrus, abruzzi, abs, abs, absa, absalom, absampere, absaraka, absarika, absaraki, absarakite, abspite, abscum, abscess, abscessed, abscesses, abscessing, abscission, abscessrude, abscend, abscise, abscised, abscisses, abscison, abscising, abscissins, abscission, absciss, abscissa, abscissi, abscisses, abscisses, abscissa, abscissin, abscission, abscissions, absconse, abscond, absconded, abscondedly, abscondence, absconder, absconders, absconding, abscons, absconsa, abscolom, abscond, absecon, absci, absci, obsile, obsiled, obsiling, obsiles, absence, absences, absences, absent, absentation, absented, absentee, absenteeism, absentees, absentees, absenteeship, absenter, absenters, absentia, absenting, absently, absentment, absent-minded, absent-minded, absent-mindedly, absent-mindedly, absent-mindedness, absent-mindedness, absent-mindednesses, absentness, absence, abspharid, abshenry, absher, absy, absinthe, absinthe, absinthes, absinthial, absinthian, absinthiate, absintheated, absintheating, absinthic, absinthian, absinthin, absinthin, absinthism, absinthismic, absinthium, absinthol, absinthole, absinthes, absurdus, absces, absist, absistos, absit, absamho, absom, absoil, absolent, absolute, absolutely, absoluteness, absoluter, absolutes, absolutist, absolution, absolutions, absolutism, absolutist, absolutista, absolutistic, absolutistically, absolutists, absolutive, absolutization, absolutize, absolutory, absolvable, absolvatory, absolve, absolved, absolvent, absolver, absolvers, absolves, absolving, absolvator, absolvatory, abstinent, absunus, absorb, absorbability, absorbable, absorbance, absorbanky, absorbant, absorbed, absorbedly, absorbedness, absorbafacient, absorbency, absorbencies, absorbent, absorbents, absorber, absorbers, absorbing, absorbingly, absorbition, absorbs, absorption, absorbed, absorptance, absorptiometer, absorptiometric, absorption, absorptional, absorptions, absorptions, absorptive, absorptively, absorptiveness, absorptivity, absquatulate, absquatulation, abstain, abstained, abstainer, abstainers, abstaining, abstainment, abstains, abstemious, abstemiously, abstemiousness, abstention, abstentionism, abstentionist, abstentions, abstentious, absterge, absterged, abstergent, absterges, absterging, absters, abstersion, abstersive, abstersiveness, abstertion, abstinence, abstinences, abstinency, abstinent, abstinential, abstinently, abstort, abster, abstract, abstractable, abstracted, abstractedly, abstractedness, abstractor, abstractors, abstractist, abstracting, abstraction, abstractional, abstractionism, abstractionist, abstractionists, abstractions, abstractions, abstractitious, abstractive, abstractively, abstractiveness, abstractly, abstractness, abstractnesses, abstractor, abstractors, abstractors, abstracts, abstrahent, abstrict, abstricted, abstricting, abstriction, abstricts, abstruid, abstruse, abstrusely, abstruseness, abstrusenesses, abstruser, abstrusist, abstrusion, abstrusity, abstrusities, absum, absumption, absurd, absurder, absurdist, absurdism, absurdist, absurdity, absurdities, absurdities, absurdly, absurdness, absurds, absurdum, absvolt, abt, abterminal, obtain, obtainry, obtainry, obtainage, obprius, abu, a bubble, abubakr, a bouquet, a bucko, a building, a booker, a bulia, a bullfeather, a bullia, a bullius, a bulic, a bulliath, a bulomania, a bumbrel, a bumbreller, a buna, abundance, abundances, abundancy, abundant, abundantia, abundantly, abun, abera, abarabozu, aberragery, a bourbon, a berry, a burst, a burden, abusable, abusage, abuse, abused, abusedly, abusey, abuseful, abusefully, abusefulness, abuser, abusers, abuses, abush, abusing, abusion, abusius, abusive, abusively, abusiveness, abusivenesses, abut, abutta, abutalon, abutalons, abutment, abutments, abuts, abuttal, abuttals, abutted, abutter, abutters, abutters, abutting, abuzz, abv, abvolt, abvolts, abwab, abwud, abwuts, ac, 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 acdc, acaa, acocalis, acocatecan, acocatecol, acacia, acacia, acacetan, acacia, acacian, acacias, acacian, acasin, acasin, academic, academe, academies, academy, academia, academile, academian, academias, academic, academical, academically, academicals, academician, academicians, academicianship, academicism, academics, academy, academies, 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 academist, academicing, academyism, academist, academite, academization, academize, academized, academizing, academus, Acadia, Acadiolite, Acadian, Acadi, Asina, Acajou, Acajous, Acal, Acalculia, Acal, Acaleph, Acalepha, Acalephi, Acalephan, Acaleph, Acalephes, Acalephoid, Acalephs, Acalia, Acalical, Acalicin, Acalicinus, Acaliculate, Acalipha, Acalipteri, Acaliptrata, Acaliptrati, Acaliptrate, Acamar, Acamas, Acampo, Acamcia, Acana, Acanaceous, Acanonical, Acanth, Acanth, Acantha, Acanthaceae, Acanthaceous, Acanthad, Acantharia, Acanthi, Acanthia, Acanthial, Acanthan, Acanthine, Acanthion, Acanthite, Acantho, Acanthocarpus, Acanthocephala, Acanthocephalan, Acanthocephali, Acanthocephalus, Acanthoserius, Acanthocladus, Acanthodia, Acanthodian, Acanthodae, Acanthodes, Acanthodian, Acanthodidae, Acanthodii, Acanthodina, Acanthoid, Acantholaman, Acantholysis, Acanthology, Acanthological, Acanthoma, Acanthomas, Acanthomeridae, Acanthan, Acanthopanax, Acanthophies, Acanthophorus, Acanthopod, Acanthopodus, Acanthopomatus, Acanthopore, Acanthopteran, Acanthoptery, Acanthopterygian, Acanthopterygii, Acanthopterus, Acanthoses, Acanthosis, Acanthotic, Acanthus, Acanthuridae, Acanthurus, Acanthus, Acanthuses, Acanthuthi, Acapnia, Acapneal, Acapneus, Acapella, Acapular, Acapu, Acapulco, Acara, Acarapus, Acarary, Acardia, Acardiac, Acardite, Acari, Acarian, Acaryashas, Acariator, Acaricidal. Acaricide. Acarid. Acarida. Acaridy. Acaridin. Acaridans. Acaridia. Acaridian. Acaridomatia. Acaridomatium. Acarids. Acariform. Acarina. Acarine. Acarines. Acarinosis. Acarnin. Acarosidia. Acarosidium. Acarodermatitis. Acaroid. Acarol. Acarology. Acarologist. Acarophilus. Acarophobia. Acarotoxic. Acarpolus. Acarpolus. Acarpos. Acarus. ACAS. Acast. Acastus. Acatlectic. Acatlepsy. Acatlepsia. Acatleptic. Acatalactic. Acatomathasia. Acataphasia. Acatoposis. Acatastasia. Acatastatic. Acate. Acategorical. Acator. Acatary. Acates. Acatharsi. Acatharsia. Acatholic. Acaudal. Acaudate. Acaudescent. Acaulescence. Acaulescent. Acaulin. Acaulos. Acaulus. Acause. ACB. ACBL. ACC. ACC. Acad. Acable. Acad. Academia. Acadian. Acalia. Axe. Accede. Acceded. Accedence. Acceder. Acceders. Accedes. Acceding. Excel. Excel. Accelerable. Accelerando. Accelerant. Accelerate. Accelerated. Acceleratedly. Accelerates. Accelerating. Acceleratingly. Acceleration. Accelerations. Accelerative. Accelerator. Acceleratory. Accelerators. Accelerograph. Accelerometer. Accelerometers. Accelerometers. Accend. Accendability. Accendable. Accensed. Accension. Accensor. Accent. Accented. Accenting. Accentless. Accenter. Accenters. Accents. Accentuable. Accentual. Accentuality. Accentually. Accentuate. Accentuated. Accentuates. Accentuating. Accentuation. Accentuations. Accentuator. Accentus. Accept. Acceptability. Acceptabilities. Acceptable. Acceptableness. Acceptably. Acceptance. Acceptances. Acceptances. Acceptancy. Acceptancies. Acceptant. Acceptation. Acceptavit. Accepted. Acceptedly. Acceptee. Acceptees. Acceptor. Acceptors. Acceptolate. Acceptolated. Acceptolating. Acceptolation. Accepting. Acceptingly. Acceptingness. Exception. Acceptive. Acceptor. Acceptors. Acceptors. Acceptress. Accepts. Axers. Axercition. Axercitor. Access. Accessibility. Accessible. Accessory. Accessories. Accessorily. Accessoriness. Accessoryship. Accessed. Accesses. Accessibility. Accessibilities. Accessible. Accessibleness. Accessibly. Accessing. Accession. Accessional. Accessioned. Accessioner. Accessioning. Accessions. Accessions. Accessed. Accessive. Accessibly. Accessless. Accessor. Accessory. Accessorial. Accessories. Accessorii. Accessorily. Accessoriness. Accessories. Accessorious. Accessoriousorii. Accessorize. Accessorized. Accessorizing. Accessors. Accessors. Achacatura. Achacaturas. Achacature. Accidents. Accidency. Accidencies. Accident. Accidental. Accidentalism. Accidentalist. Accidentality. Accidentally. Accidentalness. Accidentals. Accidentary. Accidentarily. Accident. Accidential. Accidentiality. Accidentally. Accident-prone. Accidents. Accidia. Accidias. Accidy. Accides. Accinge. Accinged. Accinging. Accipenser. Accipient. Accipiter. Accipitral. Accipitrary. Accipitra. Accipitrine. Accipter. Accise. Axismus. Accide. Axius. Acclaim. Acclaimable. Acclaimed. Acclaimer. Acclaimers. Acclaiming. Acclaims. Acclamation. Acclamations. Acclamator. Acclamatory. Acclimatable. Acclimatation. Acclimate. Acclimated. Acclimatement. Acclimates. Acclimating. Acclamation. Acclamations. Acclimatisable. Acclimatization. Acclimatus. Acclimatist. Acclimatiser. Acclimatizing. Acclimatizable. Acclimatization. Acclimatizations. Acclimatize. Acclimatized. Acclimatizer. Acclimatize. Acclimatizing. Acclimateur. Acclinal. Acclinate. Acclivity. Acclivities. Acclivitus. Acclivus. Accloy. Accoaste. Accoy. Accoid. Accoying. Accoil. Accogeek. Accolade. Accolade. Accolades. Accoladed. Accolant. Uckle. Uckily. Uckled. Uckily. Accomac. A combination. Accommodable. Accommodablness. Accommodate. Accommodated. Accommodately. Accommodateness. Accommodates. Accommodating. Accommodatingly. Accommodatingness. Accommodation. Accommodational. Accommodationist. Accommodations. Accommodative. Accommodatively. Accommodativeness. Accommodator. Accommodators. Accommodate. Accompaniable. Accompany. Accompanied. Accompanier. Accompanies. Accompanying. Accompanist. Accompaniment. Accompanimental. Accompaniments. Accompaniments. Accompanist. Accompanists. Accompanists. Accompliment. Accompletive. Accompli. Accomplice. Accomplices. Accomplishship. Accomplicity. Accomplice. Accomplish. Accomplishable. Accomplished. Accomplisher. Accomplishers. Accomplishes. Accomplishing. Accomplishment. Accomplishments. Accomplishments. Accomplished. Accompt. Accord. Accordable. Accordance. Accordances. Accordancy. Accordant. Accordantly. Accordatura. Accordaturas. Accordature. Accorded. Accorder. Accorders. According. Accordingly. Accordion. Accordionist. Accordionists. Accordions. Accordions. Accords. Accorporate. Accorporation. Accost. Accostable. Accosted. Accosting. Accosts. Accouche. Accouchement. Accouchements. Accoucheur. Accoucheurs. Accoucheuse. Accoucheuses. Accounsel. Account. Accountability. Accountabilities. Accountable. Accountableness. Accountably. Accountancy. Accountancies. Accountant. Accountants. Accountants. Accountantship. Accounted. Accounter. Accounters. Accounting. Accountings. Accountment. Accountryment. Accounts. Accouple. Accouplement. Accourage. Accoured. Accouter. Accoutered. Accouting. Accouterment. Accouterments. Accouters. Accoutra. Accoutred. Accoutrement. Accouterments. Accoutra. Accoutring. Accouville. Accra. Accrease. Accredit. Accreditable. Accreditate. Accreditation. Accreditations. Accredited. Accreditee. Accrediting. Accreditment. Accredits. Accrementitial. Accrementition. Accress. Accrescence. Accrescendi. Accrescendo. Accrescent. Accretal. Accrete. Accreted. Accretes. Accreting. Accretion. Accretionary. Accretions. Accretions. Accretive. Acriminate. Accrington. Accroach. Accroached. Accroaching. Accroachment. Accroides. Accruable. Accrual. Accruals. Accrue. Accrued. Accruement. Accruer. Accrues. Accruing. ACCS. ACCT. ACCT. ACCTS. Accubation. Accubita. Accubitum. Accubitus. Accual. Accultural. Acculturate. Acculturated. Acculturates. Acculturating. Acculturation. Acculturational. Acculturationist. Acculturative. Acculturize. Acculturized. Acculturizing. Accum. Accum. Accumbency. Accumbent. Accummer. Accumulable. Accumulate. accumulated, accumulates, accumulating, accumulation, accumulations, accumulative, accumulative, accumulatively, accumulativeness, accumulator, accumulators, accumulators, occupy, occur, accuracy, accuracies, accurate, accurately, accurateness, accuratenesses, occur, occurs, accursed, accursedly, accursedness, accursing, accursed, accurtation, accuse, accusable, accusably, accusal, accusals, accusant, accusants, accusation, accusations, accusations, accusatival, accusative, accusative dative, accusatively, accusativeness, accusatives, accusator, accusatory, accusatorial, accusatorially, accusatrix, accusatrixes, accuse, accused, accuser, accusers, accuses, accusing, accusingly, accusive, accuser, accustom, accustomation, accustomed, accustomedly, accustomedness, accustoming, accustomize, accustomized, accustomizing, accustoms, accutron, ACD, ACDA, ACDC, ACE, ACEA, ACA-synaphthene, ACE, Asian, Asianthrene, Asianthrenicanon, Ascophon, Ascophon, Askenitic, Aste, Asty, Acedia, Acediamin, Acediamine, Acedias, Acediast, Ace high, Ac, Aciduci, Acid, Aciatuna, Aceldama, Aceldammas, Acellular, Asimeti, Asimetic, Asimila, Asinaphthene, Asinaphthenil, Asinaphthylene, Asynesthesia, Accentuata, Accentuador, Acentric, Accentrus, Asiology, Asiologic, Acius, Acephala, Acephala, Acephalan, Acephalai, Acephalia, Acephalina, Acephaline, Acephalism, Acephalist, Acephalite, Acephalocyst, Acephalus, Acephalus, Aspots, Acequia, Acequiador, Acequias, Acer, Aceracii, Aceraceous, Aceri, Acerata, Acerate, Acerated, Acerates, Acerothere, Acerotherium, Aceratosis, Acerb, Acerbus, Acerbate, Acerbated, Acerbates, Acerbating, Acerber, Acerbest, Acerbic, acerbically, acerbity, acerbitiaceros, acerbites, acerbitude, acerbly, acerbophobia, acerdol, aceric, acerin, acerly, acerola, acerolas, aceros, acerus, acera, acers, acertanin, acerval, acervate, acervately, Acervatum. Acervation. Acervative. Acervos. Acervuli. Acervulin. Acervulus. Aces. Aces. Assessance. Assessancy. Assessent. Assessence. Aceship. Assessius. Assessadine. Assessodinus. Acesiminus. Assists. Acystoma. Acid. Acida. Acetable. Acetabula. Acetabular. Acetabularia. Acetabuliferous. Acetabuliform. Acetabulous. Acetabulum. Acetabulums. Acetacidic. Acetal. Acetaldehydos. Acetaldehyde. Acetaldehydrase. Acetaldol. Acetalization. Acetalize. Acetals. Acetamide. Acetamide. Acetamidin. Acetamidine. Acetamido. Acetamids. Acetaminol. Acetaminophen. Acetanilide. Acetanilide. Acetanion. Acetonicide. Acetonicidide. Acetonicidine. Acetanin. Acetary. Acetarius. Aceters. Acetarsone. Acetate. Acetate. Acetates. Acetation. Acetazolamide. Acetbromamide. Acetanil. Acetes. Acetidrazide. Acetium. Acetic. Acetify. Acetification. Acetified. Acetifier. Acetifies. Acetifying. Acetyl. Acetylacetonates. Acetylacetone. Acetylamine. Acetalaminobenzene. Acetylaniline. Acetylsalicylic. Acetylate. Acetylated. Acetylating. Acetylation. Acetylative. Acetylator. Acetylbenzene. Acetylbenzoate. Acetylbenzoic. Acetylbiuret. Acetylcarbazole. Acetylcellulose. Acetylcholine. Acetylcholinesterase. Acetylcholinic. Acetylcyanide. Acetylenation. Acetylene. Acetylenidiurane. Acetylenes. Acetylenic. Acetylenyl. Acetylenogen. Acetylfluoride. Acetylglycine. Acetylglycine. Acetylhydrazine. Acetylic. Acetylide. Acetylide. Acetyliodide. Acetylizable. Acetylization. Acetylize. Acetylized. Acetylizer. Acetylizing. Acetylmethylcarbinol. Acetyl peroxide. Acetylphenylhydrazine. Acetylphenol. Acetylrosanilin. Acetyls. Acetylsalicylate. Acetylsalicylic. Acetylsalol. Acetyltannin. Acetylthymol. Acetyltropine. Acetylurea. Acetimeter. Acetimetry. Acetometric. Acetin. Acetine. Acetins. Acetate. Acetize. Acetla. Acetmethylanilide. Acetnaphthalide. Aceto. Acetoacetanilide. Acetoacetate. Acetoacetic. Acetoamidophenol. Acetoarsenite. Acetobacter. Acetobenzoic. Acetobromanilide. Acetochloral. Acetocinamine. acetoin, acetal, acetolysis, acetolytic, acetometer, acetometry, acetometric, acetometrical, acetometrically, acetamorphin, acetamorphine, acetonemia, acetonomic, acetonaphthone, acetonate, acetonation, acetone, acetonemia, acetonomic, acetones, acetonic, acetonal, acetonylacetone, acetonylidene, acetonitrile, acetonization, acetonize, acetonuria, acetonurometer, acetophenetide, acetophenetidine, acetophenetidine, acetophenin, acetophenin, acetophenone, acetopyperone, acetopyrin, acetopyrene, acetosalicylic, acetose, acetoside, acetosoluble, acetosterin, acetothianone, acetotoluid, acetotoluid, acetotoluidine, acetus, acetoveretrone, acetoxyl, acetoxyls, acetoxim, acetoxime, acetoxyphthalide, acetphenetide, acetphenetidine, astract, acetolud, acetum, aceturic, ACF, ACGI, AC-globulin, ACH, ACAB, ACAD, Achaea, Achaean, Achaemenese, Achaemenian, Achaemenid, Achaemenidi, Achaemenides, Achaemenidian, Achaemenids, Echinocarp, Echinodon, Acheta, Achetus, Achaeus, Achave, Achage, Acagua, Achaea, Achaean, Achoxi, Achalasia, Achamoth, Acan, Acango, Acap, Acock, Achar, Acharya, Acariaceae, Acariaceous, Acarn, Acarnement, Acharnians, Acate, Achates, Achatina, Acatinella, Acatinity, Achatur, Acas, Ake, Achiat, Achac, Achac, Ached, Acre, Acaft, Acheolary, Achelia, Acheolus, Achiria, Acheirus, Acheirus, Achlaus, Achan, Achene, Achenes, Achenia, Achnile, Achenium, Achinocarp, Achinodia, Achinodium, Acher, Acherman, Acherner, Acheron, Acheronian, Acherontic, Acherontical, Aches, Acheson, Axone, Achete, Achetity, Acheulean, Acheulean, Acheweed, Achy, Achier, Achiest, Achievability, Achievable, Achieve, Achieved, Achievement, Achievements, Achievements, Achiever, Achievers, Achieves, Achieving, ACH-Wi-Fi, Achigan, Achillary, Achalia, Achil, Achil, Achillea, Achillean, Achilleus, Achilleid, Achelan, Achillane, Achilles, Achilles. Achilobursitis. Achilodynia. Achilaus. Achilaus. Achimos. Achim. Achimelech. Achimenes. Achimia. Achimaus. Achineset. Achinus. Achineses. Aching. Achingly. Achiote. Achiotes. Achira. Achiranthes. Achirite. Achirodes. Achish. Achitophel. Achkin. Acclamidate. Acclamidiae. Acclamidius. Achlorhydria. Achlorhydric. Achlorophilus. Achloropsia. Achluophobia. Achmed. Achmetha. Acoke. Acolia. Acolius. Acolic. Acolo. Acolus. Acoluria. Acoluric. Acomai. Achondrite. Achondritic. Achondroplasia. Achondroplastic. Achew. Acre. Achordal. Achordata. Achordate. Achorian. Acorn. Acros. Acre. Acrocyte. Acronthes. Acrodextrin. Acrodextrinase. Acroglobin. Acroiosithamia. Acroiosithemia. Acroite. Acroma. Acromocyte. Acromasia. Acromad. 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 Acromachiaceae. Achromatic. Achromatically. Achromaticity. Achromatin. Achromatinic. Achromatization. Achromatus. Achromatist. Achromatising. Achromatism. Achromatium. Achromatizable. Achromatization. Achromatize. Achromatized. Achromatizing. Achromatocyte. Achromatolysis. Achromatope. Achromatophil. Achromatophile. Achromatophilia. Achromatophilic. Achromatopia. Achromatopsy. Achromatopsia. Achromatosis. Achromatus. Achromats. Achromaturia. Achromia. Achromic. Achromycin. Achromobacter. Achromobacteria. Achromoderma. Achromophilus. Achromatrichia. Achromis. Achronical. Achronicus. Achronism. Achrug. Acrodextrin. Acrodextrinase. Acrus. Acropsia. Exa. Actihalber. Actal. Actalthaler. Actor. Actorfelt. Ashuas. Ashwit. Ac. Acyanoblepsia. Acyanopsia. Acyclorid. Acycloride. Acyclic. Acyclically. Acicula. Aciculi. Acicular. Acicularity. Acicularly. Aciculus. Aciculate. Aciculated. Aciculum. Aciculums. Acid. Acidemia. Acidalium. Acidanthera. Acidaspes. Acid binding. Acidemia. Acidemias. Acidur. Acid fast. Acid fastness. Acid forming. Acid head. Acid head. Acid heads. Acidy. Acidic. Acidiferous. Acidify. Acidifiable. Acidifiant. Acidific. Acidification. Acidified. acidifier, acidifiers, acidifies, acidifying, acidyl, acidimeter, acidometry, acidometric, acidometrical, acidometrically, acidite, acidity, acidities, acidize, acidized, acidizing, acidly, acidness, acidnesses, acidogenic, acidoid, acidolysis, acidology, acidometer, acidometry, acidophil, acidophile, acidophilic, acidophilus, acidophilus, acidoproteolytic, acidosis, acidosis, acidosteophyte, acidotic, acid-proof, acids, acid treat, acidulant, acidulate, acidulated, acidulates, acidulating, acidulation, acidulant, acidulous, acidulously, acidulousness, aciduria, acidureus, aciduric, AC, acier, acierage, acieral, acierate, acerated, acerates, acerating, acieration, aces, aciesis, acietic, aciform, acil, acilal, acilamido, acilamidobenzene, acilamino, acilase, acilate, acilated, acilates, acilating, acilation, aciliate, aciliated, acilias, acilogen, aciloin, aciloins, aciloxy, aciloxymethane, acils, acima, acinaceous, acinaces, acinacifoliate, acinacifolious, acinaciform, acinaceous, acinacity, aciner, acinary, acinarius, acinta, acinti, acintan, acintaria, acintarian, acintic, acintaiform, acintina, acintinan, acing, acini, acinic, aciniform, acinos, acinotubular, acinus, acinuni, acinus, acius, acipensor, acipensirs, acipensarid, acipensoridae, acipensorine, acipensoroid, acipensoroidii, acirology, acirological, ACIS, acistia, acetate, acidy, aciergy, ac, acac, aki, ackies, aki, ackies, acker, ackerly, ackerly, ackerman, ackermanville, ackley, ackler, ackman, ackman, ekno, ekno, eknowing, acknowledge, acknowledgeable, acknowledged, acknowledgedly, acknowledgement, acknowledgements, acknowledger, acknowledgers, acknowledges, acknowledging, acknowledgement, acknowledgements, acknowledgements, acknown, acpyrad, actin, ackworth, ACL, aclastic, acal, aclidion, aclistocardia, aclistus, acalman, Aclides. Aclidian. Aclinal. Aclinic. Aclis. Aclock. Acloud. ACLS. ACLU. ACM. Acmea. Acmeity. Acmeisthesia. Acmatic. Acme. Acmes. Acmesthesia. Acmic. Acmispone. Acmide. Acmen. Acne. Acneed. Acneiform. Acniform. Acnemia. Acnes. Acnida. Acnodal. Acnode. Acnodes. Aco. Acoism. Acoisma. Acost. Acocanthera. Acocantherin. Acock. Acockbill. Acockbill. Acockhorse. Acockidal. Acola. Achylomida. Achylomid. Achylomidas. Achylomi. Achylomus. Achylus. Acoameti. Acoameti. Acoametic. Asynesthesia. ACOF. Acoin. Acoine. Acole. Acolapisa. Acold. Acolhua. Acolhuan. Acolyctine. Acolyte. Acolytes. Acolyth. Acolythate. Acolytus. Ecology. Ecologic. Ecolus. Ecoluthic. Acoma. Acomia. Acomus. Acompass. Aconative. Aconcagua. Acondylos. Acondylus. Acone. Aconolin. Aconic. Aconine. Aconine. Aconidal. Aconite. Aconites. Aconitia. Aconitic. Aconitin. Aconitin. Aconitum. Aconitums. Acontia. Acontias. Acontium. Acontius. Acanuresis. Acol. Acop. Acopic. Acopirin. Acopirine. Acopan. Acer. Asoria. Acaria. Acorn. Acorned. Acorns. Acorns. Acorn shell. Acorus. Acosmic. Acosmism. Acosmist. Acosmistic. Accost. Acosta. Acotyledon. Acotyledonous. Aquasm. Acouchi. Acouchi. Acometer. Acometry. Accounter. Acoometer. Acophonia. Acoop. Acoopa. Acoop. Acousma. Acousmas. Acousmata. Acousmatic. Acoustic. Acoustical. Acoustically. Acoustician. Acoustico. Acousticolateral. Acousticon. Acousticophobia. Acoustics. Acoustoelectric. ACP. Accept. Accept. Aqua. Acquaint. Acquaintance. Acquaintances. Acquaintances. Acquaintanceship. Acquaintanceships. Acquaintancy. Acquaintant. Acquainted. Acquaintedness. Acquainting. Acquaintance. Aquaviva. Acquaint. Acquirer. Acquest. Acquests. Acquiesce. Acquiesced. Acquiescement. Acquiescence. Acquiescences. Acquiescency. Acquiescent. Acquiescently. Acquiescer. Acquiesces. acquiescing, acquiescingly, acquiescence, acquiet, acquirability, acquirable, acquire, acquired, acquirement, acquirements, acquiranda, acquirer, acquirers, acquires, acquiring, acquisible, acquisita, acquisit, acquisited, acquisition, acquisitional, acquisitions, acquisitions, acquisitive, acquisitively, acquisitiveness, acquisitor, acquisitum, acquist, acquit, acquittal, acquitment, acquits, acquittal, acquittals, acquittance, acquitted, acquitter, acquitting, aquaphonia, acr, acra, acrab, acrashi, acrea, acraine, acrainy, acraldehyde, acrania, acranial, acraniate, acrazy, acrasia, acrasiaceae, acrasials, acrasius, acrasida, acrasia, acrocin, acrocins, acraspida, acraspidote, acracia, acrateresis, acral, acrase, acre, acreable, acreage, acreages, acreek, acreem, acred, acredale, acredula, acrefoot, acreinch, acremen, acreman, acres, acres, acrestaff, acri, acrid, acridin, acridane, acridur, acridist, acridion, acridic, acridid, acrididi, acridiity, acridil, acridin, acridine, acridines, acridinic, acridinium, acridite, acridithes, acridium, acridium, acridly, acridness, acridnesses, acridon, acridonium, acridophagus, acroflavin, acroflavine, acryl, acrylaldehyde, acrylon, acrylate, acrylates, acrylic, acrylics, acrylyl, acrylonitrile, acrimony, acrimonies, acrimonious, acrimoniously, acrimoniousness, acrindoline, acrindoline, acrinil, acrisi, acrisia, acrisus, acrida, acritin, acrite, acridy, acritical, acritichromacy, acritole, acritude, acronema, acro, acro, acroesthesia, acroema, acroemata, acroematic, acroematical, acroematics, acroanesthesia, acroarthritis, acroasis, acroasphyxia, acrotaxia, acroatic, acrobacy, acrobacies, acrobat, acrobats, acrobatholythic, acrobatic, acrobatical, acrobatically, acrobatics, acrobatism, acrobats, acrobats, acrobistitis, acroblast, acrobrios, acrocarpi, acrocarpus, acrocentric, acrocephaly, acrocephalia, acrocephalic, acrocephalus, acrocera, acroceratidae, acroceronian, acroceridae, acrocordidae, acrocordini, acrocordon, acrocyanosis, acrocyst, acroc, acroclinium, acrocomia, acroconidium, acrocontracture, acrocoracoid, acrocorinth, acrodactyla, acrodactylum, acrodermatitis, acrodynia, acrodont, acrodontism, acrodonts, acrodrome, acrodromus, acrodus, acroesthesia, acrogamy, acrogamous, acrogen, acrogenic, acrogenous, acrogenously, acrogens, acrogeny, acrogenous, acrography, acrolein, acroleins, acrolith, acrolithin, acrolithic, acroliths, acrology, acrologic, acrologically, acrologies, acrologism, acrologue, acromania, acromastitis, acromegaly, acromegalia, acromegalic, acromegalies, acromelalgia, acrometer, acromia, acromile, acromacria, acromamia, acromioclavicular, acromiocoracoid, acromiodeltoid, acromyoti, acromyotian, acromyotic, acromyotis, acromiohyoid, acromiohumeral, acromyon, acromioscapular, acromiosternal, acromiothoracic, acromyotonia, acromyotonous, acromonogrammatic, acromphalus, acron, acronal, acronarcotic, acroneurosis, acronic, acronic, acronical, acronical, acronically, acronically, acronic, acronichal, acronichal, acronichally, acronichalli, acronijos, acronicta, acronictus, acronym, acronymic, acronymically, acronymize, acronymized, acronymizing, acronymouse, acronyms, acronyms, acronics, acronomy, acrook, acroparalysis, acroparesthesia, acropathy, acropathology, acropetal, acropetally, acrophobia, acrophonetic, acrophony, acrophonic, acrophonically, acrophonies, acropodia, acropodium, acropolis, acropolis, acropolises, acropolitan, acropora, acropore, acroragus, acroruma, acrosarch, acrosarca, acrosarcum, acroscleriasis, acroscleroderma, acroscopic, acros, acrosum, acrosums, acrosfacilis, acrosphere, acrospeared, acrospearing, acrospore, acrosporus, across, across the board, acrostic, acrostical, acrostically, acrostical, acrosticia, acrostichic, acrosticoid, acrosticium, acrosticism, acrostics, acrostalia, Acrostalion. Acrostalium. Acrotarsial. Acrotarsium. Acrotalutic. Acroter. Acroteral. Acroteria. Acroterial. Acroteric. Acroterion. Acroterium. Acroterteria. Acrothoracica. Acrotic. Acrotism. Acrotisms. Acrotimus. Acrotrita. Acrotredity. Acrotrophic. Acrotrophonerosis. Acrux. ACRV. ACS. ACSE. Exnet. ACSU. Act. Acta. Actability. Actable. Actia. Actiaceae. Actian. Actianity. Acted. Adk. Adk. ACTH. Actiad. Actian. Actify. Actification. Actifier. Actin. Actin. Actinal. Actin ally. Actinautography. Actinautographic. Actin. Actinenchima. Acting. Acting out. Actings. Actinia. Actinii. Actinian. Actinians. Actiniaria. Actiniarian. Actinius. Actinic. Actinical. Actinically. Actinide. Actinides. Actinidia. Actinidiaceae. Actiniferous. Actiniform. Actinine. Actiniatrome. Actiniohemidin. Actiniomorpha. Actinism. Actinisms. Actinistia. Actinium. Actineums. Actino. Actinobacilli. Actinobacilli. Actinobacillosis. Actinobacillotic. Actinobacillus. Actinoblast. Actinobranch. Actinobranchia. Actinocarp. Actinocarpic. Actinocarpus. Actinochemical. Actinochemistry. Actinocrinid. Actinocrinidae. Actinocrinide. Actinocrinus. Actinoculitis. Actinodermatitis. Actinodielectric. Actinodrome. Actinodromus. Actinoelectric. Actinoelectrically. Actinoelectricity. Actinogonidiot. Actinogram. Actinograph. Actinography. Actinographic. Actinoid. Actinoida. Actinoidea. Actinoids. Actinolite. Actinolytic. Actinology. Actinologus. Actinology. Actinomera. Actinomeric. Actinometer. Actinometers. Actinometry. Actinometric. Actinometrical. Actinometracy. Actinomyces. Actinomyce. Actinomycesis. Actinomycestal. Actinomystaceae. Actinomystal. Actinomystales. Actinomycete. Actinomycetus. Actinomycin. Actinomycoma. Actinomycosis. Actinomycocystic. Actinomycotic. Actinomyxidia. Actinomyxidioida. Actinomorphy. Actinomorphic. Actinomorphous. Actinon. Actinonema. Actinonoritis. Actinons. Actinophone. Actinophonic. Actinophore. Actinophorus. Actinophrion. Actinophrys. Actinopod. Actinopoda. actinopraxis, actinopteran, actinoptery, actinopterygian, actinopterygii, actinopterygus, actinopterus, actinoscopy, actinosoma, actinosum, actinospherium, actinost, actinostereoscopy, actinostomal, actinostome, actinotherapeutic, actinotherapeutics, actinotherapy, actinotoxemia, actinotracheum, actinotrocha, actinorhinium, actinozoa, actinozoal, actinozoan, actinozoon, actins, actinula, actinulae, action, actionability, actionable, actionably, actional, actionary, actioner, actions, actionist, actionize, actionized, actionizing, actionless, actions, actions, action taking, actious, actipylea, actus, actium, activable, activate, activated, activates, activating, activation, activations, activator, activators, activators, active, active-bodied, actively, active-limbed, active-minded, activeness, actives, activin, activism, activisms, activist, activistic, activists, activists, activital, activity, activities, activities, activize, activized, activizing, actless, actomycin, actin, actor, actory, actority, actorish, actor manager, actor proof, actors, actors, actorship, actos, act pure, actress, actresses, actressy, actresses, acts, actu, actual, actualization, actualize, actualized, actualizing, actualism, actualist, actualistic, actuality, actualities, actualization, actualizations, actualize, actualized, actualizes, actualizing, actually, actualness, actuals, actuary, actuarial, actuarially, actuarian, actuaries, actuaryship, actuate, actuated, actuates, actuating, actuation, actuator, actuators, actuators, actuos, actup, acture, acturans, actus, accitate, actweight, acu, acuesthesia, acuin, acuate, acuating, acuation, acubens, acuchi, acuclosure, aqueductor, aqueirdo, aqueirdos, aquesthesia, acuity, acuities, aculia, aculii, aculeata, aculeate, aculeated, aculae, aculiform, aculeolate, aculeolus, aculeus, acumble, acumen, acumens, acuminate, acuminated, Acuminating. Acumination. Acuminose. Acuminous. Acuminulate. Acupress. Acupressure. Acupunctuate. Acupunctuation. Acupuncturation. Acupuncturator. Acupuncture. Acupunctured. Acupunctures. Acupuncturing. Acupuncturist. Acupuncturists. Accurative. Acus. Acusection. Acusector. Acushla. Acushnet. Accustom. Acutance. Acutances. Acutangular. Acutate. Acute. Acute angled. Acutely. Acutinaculum. Acuteness. Acutenesses. Acuter. Acutes. Acutist. Acuity. Acutiator. Acutifoliate. Acutilingui. Acutilingual. Acutilobate. Acutiplantar. Acutish. Acuto. Acutograve. Acutonodos. Acuterzion. ACV. ACW. ACWA. Ackworth. ACWP. Acoyotl. Ad. Ada. Audible. Adabel. Adaca. Adactyl. Adactylia. Adactylism. Adactylus. Audad. Adage. Adages. Adage. Adagal. Adagietto. Adagietos. Adagio. Adagios. Adagissimo. Ada. Adaha. Ade. 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 Adeha. Adair. Adairsville. Adairville. Adays. Adas. Adal. Adala. Adalai. Adalard. Adalad. Adalbert. Adalhide. Adali. Adalia. Adalia. Adalid. Adali. Adeline. Adal. Adallard. Adam. Adama. Adamance. Adamances. Adamancy. Adamancies. Adamanive. Adamant. Adamantian. Adamantine. Adamantinoma. Adamantly. Adamantles. Adamantness. Adamantoblast. Adamantoblastoma. Adamantoid. Adamantoma. Adamants. Adamas. Adamaster. Adamawa. Adamawa Eastern. Adambulacral. Adamek. Adamek. Adamelite. Adamello. Adamhood. Adamic. Adamical. Adamically. Adamic. Adamina. Adamina. Adamine. Adames. Adamite. Adamitic. Adamitical. Adamitism. Adamo. Adamok. Adams. Adams Basin. Adamsbig. Adamson. Adamsia. Adamsite. Adamsites. Adamski. Adam's Needle. Adamson. Adamstown. Adamsoon. Adamsville. Adon. Adona. Adance. Adance. Adangle. Adangle. Adansonia. Adeo. Adopa. Adapid. Adapes. Adapt. Adaptability. Adaptabilities. Adaptable. Adaptableness. Adaptably. Adaptation. Adaptational. Adaptation ally. Adaptations. Adaptations. Adaptative. Adapted. Adaptedness. Adapter. Adapters. Adapting. Adaption. Adaptional. Adaptionism. Adaptions. Adaptitude. Adaptive. Adaptively. Adaptiveness. Adaptivity. Adaptometer. Adapter. Adaptorial. Adapters. Adapts. Adar. Adara. Adarbitrium. Adarm. Adarticulation. Audad. Audati. Audati. Audatus. Audatum. Adont. Adored. Ada. Ada. Adalad. Adon. Adaxial. Audazzle. ADB. ADC. EDP. ADCI. Edkin. Edkins. Adcraft. Ad. Ad. Ada. Adability. Adable. Ad. Adam. Atoms. Adax. Adaxes. Adp. Ada. Added. Added. Addedly. Addeme. Addend. Addenda. Addends. Addendum. Addendums. Adder. Adderbolt. Adderfish. Adders. Adder's grass. Adder's meat. Adder's mouth. Adder's mouths. Adder's spit. Adder's tongue. Adder's tongue. Adderword. Addy. Addy. Addia. Addibility. Addible. Addice. Addicent. Addict. Addicted. Addictedness. Addicting. Addiction. Addictions. Addictions. Addictive. Addictively. Addictiveness. Addictives. Addicts. Addy. Addiego. Addial. Addyville. Addiment. Adding. Addington. Addio. Addis. Addison. Addisonian. Addisoniana. Addiston. Addita. Additament. Addidamentary. Addiment. Addition. Additional. Additionally. Additionary. Additionist. Additions. Additions. Additive. Additive. Additively. Additives. Additives. Additivity. Additory. Addendum. Additor. Addle. Addlebrain. Addlebrained. Addled. Addlehead. Addleheaded. Addleheadedly. Addleheadedness. Addlement. Addleness. Addlepate. Addlepate. Addlepateness. Addleplot. Addles. Addling. Addlings. Addlins. Addn. Adnel. Adum. Adurst. Adost. Address. Address. Addressability. Addressable. Addressed. Addressee. Addressees. Addressees. Addresser. Addressers. Addresses. Addressful. Addressing. Addressograph. Addresser. Addressed. Ads. Adduc. Adduce. Adducible. Adduced. Adducent. Adducer. Adducers. Adduces. Adducible. Adducing. adduct, adducted, adducting, adduction, adductive, adductor, adductors, adducts, adulce, aid, aided, aided, adibia, aiding, adeem, adeemed, adeeming, adeems, adeep, adeep, aiding, Adele, Adela, Adelaida, Adelaide, Adelaja, Adelantadude, Adelantadues, Adelante, Adelanto, Adelarthra, Adelarthrosomata, Adelarthrosomatus, Adelaster, Adelbert, Adele, Adelia, Adelaide, Adulges, Adelheid, Adelia, Adelis, Adelina, Adelind, Adeline, Adeling, Adelite, Adeliza, Adele, Adela, Adele, Adeloceras, Adelacorda, Adelocodonic, Adelomorphic, Adelomorphous, Adelopod, Adelopes, Adelph, Adelphi, Adelphia, Adelphian, Adelphic, Adelpho, Adelphogamy, Adelphoi, Adelpholite, Adelphophagy, Adelphus, Adelric, Adamonist, Adempt, Adempted, Ademption, Aden, Aden, Adena, Adenalgi, Adenalgia, Adenanthera, Adenace, Adenasthenia, Adenauer, Adendric, Adendritic, Adenectomy, Adenectomies, Adenectopia, Adenectopic, Adenemphratic, Adenemphraxis, Adenia, Adeniform, Adenil, Adenilic, Adenylpyrophosphate, Adenils, Adenine, Adenine, Adenines, Adenitis, Adenitises, Adenization, Adeno, Adenocanthoma, Adenoblast, Adenochondroid, Adenocarcinoma, Adenocarcinomas, Adenocarcinomata, Adenocarcinoma 2, Adenocele, Adenocellulitis, Adenochondroma, Adenochondrosarcoma, Adenochrome, Adenocyst, Adenocystoma, Adenocystomatus, Adenodermia, Adenodiastasis, Adenodynia, Adenofibroma, Adenofibrosis, Adenogenesis, Adenogenous, Adenographer, Adenography, Adenographic, Adenographical, Adenohypersthenia, Adenohypophyseal, Adenohypophyseal, Adenohypophysis, Adenoid, Adenoidal, Adenoidectomy, Adenoidectomies, Adenoidism, Adenoiditis, Adenoids, Adenolymphocele, Adenolymphoma, Adenoliomyofibroma, Adenolipoma, Adenolipomatosis, Adenologaditis, Adenology, Adenological, Adenoma, Adenomalacia, Adenomas, Adenomata, Adenomatome, Adenomatus, Adenomeningeal, Adenometritis, Adenomycosis, Adenomyofibroma, Adenomyoma, Adenomyxoma, Adenomyxosarcoma, Adenonchus, Adenoneural, Adenoner, Adenopathy, Adenopharyngeal, Adenopharyngitis, Adenophilus. Adenophema. Adenophlagmon. Adenophora. Adenophore. Adenophorus. Adenophorus. Adenophthalmia. Adenopotus. Adenosarcoma. Adenosarcomas. Adenosarcomata. Adenosclerosis. Adenos. Adenoses. Adenosine. Adenosis. Adenostomonas. Adenostoma. Adenotyphoid. Adenotyphus. Adenotome. Adenotomy. Adenotomic. Adenous. Adenoviral. Adenovirus. Adenoviruses. Adiodatus. Adiana. Adephaga. Adephagon. Adephagia. Adephagus. Adepts. Adept. Adeptor. Adeptist. Adeption. Adeptly. Adeptness. Adeptnesses. Adepts. Adeptship. Adequacy. Adequacies. Adequate. Adequately. Adequateness. Adequation. Adequative. Ader. Adermia. Adermin. Adermine. Adesime. Adespota. Adespoton. Adescenarian. Adessive. Adist. Adist. Adet. Aduism. Atavism. Adew. ADF. Adfected. Adfroze. Adfrozen. Adfiliate. Adfix. Adfluxion. Adfreeze. Adfreezing. Adferf. Adfroze. Adfrozen. Adger. Adglutinate. Adhafer. Adhaka. Adam. Adhamant. Adhamite. Adhara. Adharma. Adherent. Adhere. Adhered. Adherence. Adherences. Adherency. Adherent. Adherence. Adherent. Adherently. Adherence. Adherence. Adherer. Adherers. Adheres. Adherescence. Adherescent. Adhering. Adhern. Adhesion. Adhesional. Adhesions. Adhesive. Adhesively. Adhesive meter. Adhesiveness. Adhesives. Adhesives. Adhibit. Adhibited. Adhibiting. Adhibitution. Adhibits. Adhocracy. Adhort. ADI. Audi. Adiabat. Adiabatic. Adiabatically. Adiabolist. Adioctinic. Adiaticokinesia. Adiaticokinesis. Adiaticokinesi. Adiaticokinesia. Adianostic. Adiamorphic. Adiamorphism. Adiana. Adiantiform. Adiantum. Adiaphanous. Adiaphanousness. Adiaphon. Adiaphonon. Adiaphora. Adiaphoral. Adiaphoresis. Adiaphoretic. Adiaphory. Adiaphorism. Adiaphorist. Adiaphoristic. Adiaphorite. Adiaphoron. Adiaphorus. Adianostia. Adiate. Adiated. Adiathermal. Adiathermancy. Adiatherminus. Adiathermic. Adiathetic. Adiating. Adiation. Adib. Adibasi. Adi Buddha. Adicia. Adicity. Adi. Adil. Adil. Addience. Adient. Ado. Adues. Adues. Audige. Audige. Adigii. Audigii. Adu. Adinghi. Adite. Adigranth. Adigon. Adila. Adim. Adin. Adina. Adenami. Adenamia. Adenamias. Adinamic. Adine. Adenida. Adenidin. Adenole. Adinvention. Adian. Adios. Adipate. Adipescent. Adiphenin. Adipic. Adipil. Adipinic. Adipocele. Adipocelulos. Adipocere. Adipoceriform. Adipocerite. Adipocerus. Adipocyte. Adipofibroma. Adipogenic. Adipogenous. Adipoid. Adipolysis. Adipolytic. Adipoma. Adipomata. Adipomatus. Adipometer. Adiponitrile. Adipopectic. Adipopexia. Adipopexic. Adipopexis. Adipose. Adiposeness. Adipose. Adiposis. Adiposity. Adipositas. Adiposogenital. Adiposuria. Adipus. Adici. Adipsia. Adipsic. Adipsis. Adirondack. Adirondacks. Addis. Added. Addita. Addital. Auditya. Additia. Additan. Addits. Addita. Additum. Additus. Adivasi. Adiz. Adjective. Adjective. Adjacence. Adjacency. Adjacencies. Adjacent. Adjacently. Adjag. Adject. Adjection. Adjectional. Adjectitious. Adjectival. Adjectivally. Adjective. Adjectively. Adjectives. Adjectives. Adjectivism. Adjectivitis. Adjuga. Adjiger. Adjoin. Adjoinant. Adjoined. Adjointly. Adjoiner. Adjoining. Adjoiningness. Adjoins. Adjoint. Adjoints. Adjourn. Adjournal. Adjourned. Adjourning. Adjudgeable. Adjudged. Adjudger. Adjudges. Adjudging. Adjudgment. Adjudicata. Adjudicate. Adjudicated. Adjudicates. Adjudicating. Adjudication. Adjudications. Adjudications. Adjudicative. Adjudicator. Adjudicatory. Adjudicator. Judicature. Adjugate. Adjuvant. Adjunct. Adjunctive. Adjunctively. Adjunctly. Adjuncts. Adjuncts. Adjuntas. Adjuration. Adjurations. Adjuratory. Adjure. Adjured. Adjurer. Adjurers. Adjurers. Adjuring. Adjurer. Adjurers. Adjust. Adjustability. Adjustable. Adjustable pitch. Adjustably. Adjustage. Adjustation. Adjusted. Adjuster. Adjusters. Adjusting. Adjustive. Adjustment. Adjustmental. Adjustments. Adjustments. Adjuster. Adjustors. Adjusting. Adjusters. adjusters, adjusts, adjutage, adjutancy, adjutancies, adjutant, adjutant general, adjutants, adjutantship, agitator, adjut, adjutor, adjutary, adjutarius, adjutrice, adjutrix, adjuvant, adjuvants, adjuvate, adkins, adlay, adlay, adler, adler, adley, adligation, adleger, adley, adley, adlerian, adless, adlit, adlib, adlibbed, adlibber, adlibbing, adlamia, adlamidin, adlamidine, adlamin, adlamine, ADM, ADM, adma, adman, admarginate, admass, admaxillary, ADMD, admeasure, admeasured, admeasurement, admeasurer, admeasuring, admedial, admedian, admen, admensuration, admerve, admead, admittus, adme, admin, adminical, adminicula, adminicular, adminiculary, adminiculate, adminiculation, adminer, administrators, administrators, administratorship, administratress, administratrices, administratrix, administration, administrations, admirability, admirable, admirableness, admirably, admiral, admirals, admirals, admiralship, admiralships, admiralty, admiralties, admirants, admiration, admirations, admirative, admiratively, admirator, admire, admired, admiredly, admirer, admirers, admires, admiring, admiringly, admissibility, admissible, admissibilities, admissible, admissibleness, admissibly, admission, admissions, admissions, admissive, admissively, admissory, admit, admits, admittable, admittance, admittances, admittitor, admitted, admittedly, admitting, admitter, admitters, admitting, admittable, admitting, admix, admixed, admixes, admixing, admixed, admixtion, admixture, admixtures, admonish, admonished, admonisher, admonishes, admonishing, admonishingly, admonishment, admonishments, admonishments, admonition, admonitioner, admonitionist, admonitions, 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 admonitive, admonitively, admonitor, admonitory, admonitorial, admonitorily, admonitrix, admortization, admove, admove, admares, adn, adna, adna, adnan, adnascence, adnascent, adnate, adnation, adnations, adne, adfrene, adnerval, adnescent, adneural, adnex, adnexa, adnexal, adnext, adnexidus, adnexapexy, adnominal, adnominally, adnomination, adnopause, adnoun, adnouns, adnumber, ado, adobe, adobes, adobo, adobos, adod, adolesce, adolesced, adolescence, adolescences, adolescency, adolescent, adolescently, adolescence, adolescence, adolescing, Adolf, Adolfo, Adolf, Adolf, Adolfo, Adonius, Adonic, Adonica, Adonidin, Adonijah, Adonin, Adoniram, Adonis, Adonises, Adonist, Adonide, Adonitol, Adonize, Adonized, Adonizing, Adonwoy, Adores, Adores, Adopurate, Adopuration, Adopt, Adoptability, Adoptabilities, Adoptable, Adoptant, Adoptative, Adopted, Adoptedly, Adoptee, Adoptees, Adopter, Adopters, Adoption, Adoptianism, Adoptionist, Adopting, Adoption, Adoptional, Adoptionism, Adoptionist, Adoptions, Adoptions, Adopteus, Adoptive, Adopt, Adopts, Ader, Adora, Adorability, Adorable, Adorabali, Adorant, Adorantes, Adoration, Adorations, Adoratory, Adore, Adored, Adoree, Adorer, Adorers, Adores, Adortus, Adoring, Adoringly, Adoral, Adorn, Adornation, Adorn, Adorners, Adorning, Adorningly, Adornment, Adornments, Adorno, Adornos, Adorns, Adurst, Aduse, Adusculation, Adost, Adossi, Adola, Adoli, Adowa, Adown, Adaza, Adoxaci, Adoxasis, Adoxy, Adoxes, Adox.